Okay, this is the fourth video for the test on January 24th. We're going to sheet number 10. Sheet number 10 is doing Dvarim Perach Daled, Sukim Yud Daled and Tet Vav. So let's take a look at it. And it's in Hebrew, but I will certainly explain it in English, and you have your own Tanakh to follow along. The Torah, now this is a sheet. I want to get the Psukim. Just hold on one second. I'm sorry. Here we go. Okay. So we're going Yudal and Tetvav. Lo tashak tzachir ani ve'avion. You shouldn't oppress the worker who's poor and impoverished. Me'achecha o migercha asher b'artzacha v'asher b'sharecha. Whoever it is, biyomo titein scharo. Make sure you pay him on time. V'lo tavo alav hashemesh. And don't let the sun set without him being paid. Ki anihu, because he's poor. Ve'elav hu nosei nasho. And towards this job, he's like ready to give his life. And so you pay him on time in order that he should not daven to Hashem. And you'd have an Averah if he goes ahead and he prays to God because and it's close to God because you did not pay him on time. So let's take a look at the questions were asked on sheet number 10. And we have a couple of Rashis here also. So let's take a look. Yeah. What prohibition is detailed in Tedvav Tedzayim Psukim? Those Psukim tell us that you have to pay your worker on time. How does Rashi interpret Ve'elav hu nosei nafsho? He's giving his life for this. So Rashi says, Ala sachar hazeh, to get this money, hu nosei nafsho lamut, that he is really putting his life on the line. Allah v'kevesh etla be'elan. He may be doing very, very dangerous things in order just to get paid. So that you have to go ahead, you have to pay him on time because he put his life on the line. How speedily will retribution come? So Rashi says, mikol makom, el shemaharim lipara eidei korei. So Rashi is addressing the particular problem because if you look at the pasuk, it says, okay, don't delay his payments. You know why? Because if you do, he's going to call to Hashem. And then you're going to be a chotei. What do you mean? If he doesn't call to Hashem, if he doesn't say anything, you're not a chotei. If you didn't pay him on time, the guy just, doesn't say anything to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's perfectly fine. So Rashi interprets that if you go ahead and if you just don't pay him and he doesn't say anything, you're still going to be held accountable. But if he goes ahead and he davens to Hashem, so then what does Rashi say? Let's read the Rashi together. That if the person calls out to God, the retribution is going to come very, very quickly. So any which way you shouldn't do it, but better really watch out that if this fellow goes ahead and then his next Shemon Esrei says, listen, Reuven did not pay me, and I'm very, very upset with him, then then the punishment comes even quicker. That's what you have to know for these psukim. We're now going down to Dvarim Perach Daled Psukim Yutet Chavbet, but we also have to pay attention to Vayikra Perach Yutet Psukim Tet and Yud, specifically Pasuk Tet. Let's see what's going on over here. So we have certain gifts that the Aniyah must receive. This again is now in Dvarim Perach Daled 24, and if you look in Pasuk Yutet, it says Ki Kitzar Tzchar B'Sadacha, that if you are harvesting your field, and you forget a whole bale of stuff that you've tied together in the field. In other words, you had 100 bales and you took a 99, one was left in the field. You should just leave it there. Don't go back and take it. In order that God should bless everything that you have. Now, this is not the first time that these sorts of matzanot, gifts for the ani, are mentioned. The first time is Vayikra, Perek Yotzeh Pasuk Tet. It says, "V'kusrachem ekatzir atzachem." When you go ahead and harvest your field, lo sechale pa'atzacha liksor. Don't go ahead and harvest the peyah, the corner of your field. Leave the corner of your field for the ani to come and to pick. And if when you're picking your stuff, when your wheat or whatever it is, and some of it falls, that you should let it just fall on the ground, just one or two stalks, let it fall on the ground, and Okay, the phone rings, so I hope I don't repeat myself over here because I had to take a phone call. So that in this pasuk we have the idea of leaving payah, the corner of the fields, and if you're gathering wheat and 1 or 2 stalks fall, you leave it for the ani. So you have that already in Parshat Kedoshim in Vayikra, and here we add in the idea of what's called shikhacha. If you forget something in the field, that you go ahead and leave it for the poor person. So a couple of questions that were asked over here, which are important if we go back to the sheet. Here we go. So what gifts are mentioned in Vayikra? So that is the gift of payah, a corner of the field, and leket. Something falls on the ground, 1 or 2 stalks, you leave it there. Apparently, number 6, I'm supposed to leave it for the field on the poor. Wouldn't it be better if I packaged it and sent it directly to the poor person? The answer is no, for 2 reasons. First of all, it's good for the poor person to work and to do things, not just to sit at home and get gifts. It's much healthier if they have to go out to the fields and actually get there and pick things and do things. It gives a person a sense of productivity, which is extremely, extremely important. It's also important for the person who is the giver of the gifts to know it's not that it's mine that I'm giving. It's not mine. I can't go there. That field, that corner of the field has to just be left. It's simply not mine. I dropped something on the floor. It's no longer mine. It's not a matter that I'm being a nice guy. The additional gift mentioned in Sefer Devarim that we need to know about is shechacha, that if I forget something in the field, I have to leave it there. Okay, so Rashi tells me on the pasuk of shechacha says that God will bless me. Even though shechacha by its very nature came about because I forgot something. I had no intention of leaving this in the fields. I brought in 99 sheaves. I left one out in the fields. Oh, all of a sudden I can't take it, and I just leave it there. So certainly, if I want to go ahead and give something to the ani, and I purposely go and I give something to the ani, wow, that's even a bigger wow. More me'atzah. From here we can come to the conclusion. Nafla salam miyadzal, that if I'm walking towards the Rakev Rakala and a 10 shekel piece falls out of my pocket, umatzah ani v'niparnespa, and a poor person comes and gets it, and they're able to go to the store to buy something, harehu mitbarech aleha, that I go ahead and I get a bracha, even though I had no intention. I know now, maybe I don't even know about it. So that's what we see from the mitzvah of shechacha. If we look at the psukim, we see very, very much what happened over here. Sorry. If we look at the psukim, let's get back over here. We see that these gifts are destined in Pasuk Yetet, Lager, for the convert, Layatom, the orphan, for Lamana, and the widow. It means anybody that's poor. It's just that these 3 classes of people very often were poor. The ger was a stranger and no way of getting into things and earning a living right away. The yatom, talking about a young orphan who didn't have means of earning a living. The same thing was true of an almanah, of a widow. But this is just an example of people that normally might suffer from poverty. It doesn't mean that they all did, but it means anybody who's impoverished. If I go down to Pasuk Chabet, the summation pasuk of all of this is the Zachataki Evel Yitza Be'eretz Mitzrayim. Remember that you were once a slave in Eretz Mitzrayim. Al Kain Anochim Mitzavachad Lasot Tadavar Azet. That's why I'm commanding you to do this. The idea being that the whole Mitzrayim experience should resonate with us. We know what it is to be on the downside. So even when you're on the upside, don't forget what it means to be on the downside. Don't forget your past, and make sure that you are taking care of the poor, because you know what it means to be oppressed. You know what it means to be without, and that's something which is very, very important to remember. Thank you very much.